urban lifestyle station.
And I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Good morning and welcome to Impact 102.1 FM. It's time for our newspaper review. This morning I am Arugundade Timitokwe. Today is Thursday, February 19th, 2026, and we're about to look at the front pages of the major dailies. Nigerian front pages this morning are dominated by development surrounding the amended Electoral Act 2026, mounting political reaction across party lines, electoral credibility concerns ahead of the 2027 general elections, security incidents, and key economic decision by the federal government. Right about now, we'll be starting with the Vanguard newspaper. Major headline on the Vanguard newspaper this morning says e-transmission of poll results can't replace manual, and this is coming from the president. And we have one writer to the story: signs amended Electoral Act 2026 into law. So the president is saying that e-transmission of poll results can't replace manual, and he signs the amended Electoral Act 2026 into law, and that story is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. INEC position on e-transmission of results. INEC's position on e-transmission of election results, and that story is on page 10. On page 15 we have APC Congress, two feared killed, 5 injured, vehicle burnt in Ondo. APC Congress, 2 feared dead, 5 injured, vehicle burnt in Ondo, and that story is on page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. Above the nameplate we have Tinubu signs executive order to end NNPC's 30% oil revenue cuts. Tinubu signs executive order to end NNPC's 30% oil revenue cut, and that story is on page 20. The phone lines are open: 090-7224-5018. If you want to join the conversation, send us a text message or send us a message on WhatsApp: 090-7224-5018. You can always join the conversation. Let us hear your views. These stories that affect you directly, and we want to know what you think about this. Or maybe there's something that the front pages did not cover and you want to talk about. 090-7224-5018. Last story I'll be taking on the Vanguard newspaper this morning is beside the nameplate, and it says failure of institutions deterring FDI in Nigeria, says Tawali Johnson. Failure of institutions deterring FDI in Nigeria, says Tawali Johnson, and that story is on page 21 of the Vanguard newspaper, and that's all we'll be taking on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, major headline in the Daily Trust newspaper says electoral law signed, transparency questions linger. And we have a little speech from the presidency. Says, it is time that we have confidence in our system. No matter how good a system is, it's managed by the people, promoted by the people, and result is finalized by the people. In fact, for final results, you are not going to be talking to the computer. You are going to be talking to human beings who announce the results, and that message is from President Tinubu. I'm sure you want to read more on that. Is on pages 3, 4, and 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Another story on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning says DSS detains El Rufai as EFCC grants ex-governor bail. DSS detains El-Rufai as EFCC grants ex-governor bail, and that story is on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Beneath that story, we have female banker jailed 10 years for fraud. Female banker jailed 10 years for fraud, and that story is on page 21 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Beside that story, we have 8 soldiers killed in terrorist raid. This is so sad, and it's quite a loss for us. 8 soldiers killed in terrorist raid, and that story is on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Skin bleaching exposes 168 million Nigerians to cancer, liver failure. Skin bleaching exposes 168 million Nigerians to cancer, liver failure, and that story is on page 7 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Beneath the nameplate, we have 16 months after federal government's free C-section launch, states lag. 16 months after federal government free C-section launch, states lag, and that story is on page 33 of the Daily Trust newspaper. How 38 miners died in Plateau. How 38 miners died in Plateau, and that story is on page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And the last story we're taking on the Daily Trust newspaper says another Nigerian fighting for Russia captured in Ukraine. Another Nigerian fighting for Russia captured in Ukraine. And that's all we'll be taking this morning on the Daily Trust newspaper. Before we move on to the remaining 2 newspapers this morning, we'll be going on a quick break, and when we're back, we'll analyze the remaining papers and also take in calls and suggestions from our listeners. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Secure the future.
At High Impact Studios, we serve a platter of excellent services. Want to know what we offer? Get into our world of impeccable delivery, from premium audio production, excellent voiceover artistry, to a versatile space for all kinds of photo and video shoots. Our quality event coverage and cinematography professionals will give you an excellent coverage of all your memorable events. Our OB van is available for live streaming all your outdoor productions. Enjoy the high impact effect. Contact us today on 0706-393-5694 or 0915-158-1881, or send a mail to info@high-impactstudios.com. High Impact Studios, the future.
Hey, High Impact. What is the strongest muscle in the body?
The tongue is the strongest muscle in the human body.
Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Put a touch of class and finesse on your brand by advertising with us at High Impact 1021 FM. For more information, call
0706-393-5694, 0915-958-1881, or 0902-745-3931.
Follow us on our social media platforms at High Impact 1021 FM. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself. Our deals are hotter than the weather itself.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
There are a number of oceans in the world. I'm wondering, which is the largest?
The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest of the Earth's 5 oceanic divisions. It extends from the Arctic Ocean in the north to the Southern Ocean in the south, and is bounded by the continent of Asia and Australia in the west and the Americas in the east. It has an area of 165.2 million kilometers square.
I'm so glad I just learned something new. Thank you.
Learning is fun.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
There are times that I aim for knowledge in certain areas like business and so on. Which station can give me that non-stop information?
High Impact 102.1 FM. We've got information for you on the go.
I'll make it my everyday station.
You definitely should.
The high impact of Lagos. Lagos.
Hey, High Impact.
Hi, how may I help you?
All right, so I'm staring at my body and I'm wondering how much water is my body made up of?
Your body is made up of approximately 60% water.
So that means I probably wouldn't drown if I go into the ocean.
That's if you're not stubborn enough to go there, you are not going to drown.
Fun just got real. Looking for where you can have all the fun as promised for you and the kids? And yes, daddy included. High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort is just the place. Over 60 rides and games with all the food you can imagine. From mega-sized pizzas to super chili ice creams. And even a 5D cinema. Yes, a 5D cinema. The biggest amusement park is in West Africa, and guess what? It's here in the city! Come and have all the fun you can at High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort, located on Kilometer 12, Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo via Lagos. Call us on 0814-229-9509. High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort, fun just got real.
The Urban Radio with the Force. Can you feel the pause?
Yes, of course.
What's our name?
High Impact
102.1 FM.
The king of radio is here. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to High Impact 102.1 FM, and it's time to move to the remaining two papers. This morning we've gone through the Vanguard newspaper and the Daily Trust newspaper. Now we'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. Major headline on the Punch newspaper this morning says Electoral Act 2026, Tinubu defends assent, opposition raises L, and we have one writer to the story. PDP Labour Party raise red flags. Tinubu defies protests as APC predicts credible poll. We have the Punch newspaper reports that Bola Tinubu has defended the decision to sign the amended Electoral Act 2026 into law. According to the paper, opposition parties, particularly the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and the Labour Party (LP), have raised serious concerns about certain provisions of the amendment. They argued that aspects of the law may weaken transparency and compromise the credibility of future elections. However, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu reportedly dismissed the protest, insisting that the amendment will strengthen the electoral process. The ruling APC is also quoted as predicting credible and transparent polls under the revised framework. The report highlights growing political tensions as parties position themselves ahead of the 2027 general elections. I'm sure you want to read more on that. It's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Moving on to another story, we have widow, late Nigerian boxers family clash over estate. Widow, late Nigerian boxers family clash over estate, and that story is on page 30 of the Punch newspaper. Two killed in Ondo APC bloody Congress. Two killed in Ondo APC bloody Congress, and that story is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Ramadan, Lent, Tinubu, Atiku governors preach unity. Ramadan Lent, Tinubu Atiku governors preach unity, and that is on page 14 of the Punch newspaper. Above the nameplate we have ICPC grills El-Rufai after EFCC's release. ICPC grills El-Rufai after EFCC released. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has questioned former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai following his release by the EFCC. Punch suggests that anti-corruption agencies are intensifying investigations into financial matters connected to past administrators. I'm sure you want to read that story. It's on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. FCT poll 3,345 BVS deployed, movement restricted. FCT poll 3,345 BVS deployed. The Punch reports that 3,345 bimodal voter accreditation system machines has been deployed for the Federal Capital Territory polls. However, movement restrictions have been announced in parts of FCT to ensure smooth conduct of the elections, and that story is on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. FX for business travel soars by 366% to $672 million. That is quite a lot. Punch is reporting that foreign exchange for business travel allowances are surged significantly, rising by 366% to $672 million, reflecting increased demand for foreign currency. And that story is on page 9 of the Punch newspaper. And the last story I'll be taking at the Punch newspaper this morning says FG seal Plateau mine after gas leak kills 37. That's quite a lot of people. It is a very tragic development, and the federal government has sealed a mining site in Plateau State after a gas leak reportedly killed 37 people. The incident raises fresh concerns about safety compliance and regulatory enforcement in Nigeria's mining sector. And that's all we'll be taking this morning on the Punch newspaper. We'll be moving on to the next paper right about now. We'll be moving to the Guardian newspaper this morning. Guardian newspaper is quite packed. Major headline on the Guardian newspaper says 2027 credibility battle shifts to INEC as Tinubu signs amended electoral act. That's quite a story. 2027 credibility battle shifts to INEC as Tinubu signs amended electoral act. Guardian reports that President Tinubu signing of the amended electoral act, attention is now shifting to the Independent National Electoral Commission, that's the INEC. The paper explains that INEC now bears significant responsibility in ensuring that the amended positions are implemented in a way that guarantees credibility, transparency, and public trust ahead of the 2027 general elections. The report suggests that debate over electoral integrity will now focus less on the law itself and more on how the commission enforces it. I'm sure you want to read that story. It's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. There's an electoral bill, the Electoral Bill 2026. There's a comprehensive public guide on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, so you can grab a copy and check it out. Moving on to another story. FCT polls, INEC pledges e-transmission of results. FCT polls, INEC pledges e-transmission results of results, and that story is on page 30. It's on news page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Beneath that story we have mixed reactions, protest trail Delta APC ward congresses. Mixed reactions, protest trail Delta APC World Congresses, and that is on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on to another story, GenCos reject NLC's extortion claims. Sixth sector battling 6 trillion naira unpaid bills. GenCos reject NLC's extortion claims. Sixth sector battling 6 trillion naira unpaid bills, and that is on news page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Beneath that story, we have Tinubu orders NNPC to remit oil revenue to FAC as recount stagnates. Tinubu orders NNPC to remit oil revenue to FAC as rig count stagnates, and that is on news page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. What that means is that President Tinubu has directed the National Nigerian Petroleum Company, that's the NNPC, to remit oil revenues to the Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, even as oil rig count remains stagnant. And I'm sure you want to read more on that story, and that's on news page 3, like I said earlier. We went to another story. Telcos reject objections to e-result transmission, insist on national coverage. Telcos reject objection to e-result transmission, insist on national coverage. Telecommunications operators have rejected objections to electronic transmission of election results, insisting that there is sufficient national coverage to support the process. And that story is on news page 6 on the Guardian newspaper. Beneath the nameplates, we have IPAC, Obi, flay police clamp down, tear gas of protesters at National Assembly. Another headline reports that the Inter-Party Advisory Council and Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi have criticized the police over alleged tear gas deployments on protesters at the National Assembly. And that story is on news page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Beside that story, we have Holy Month, Tinubu Obi urge spiritual reflections, commitment to shared humanity. Holy Month, Tinubu Obi urges spiritual reflections, commitment to shared humanity, and that is on news page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And the last story we'll be taking on the Guardian newspaper this morning says reps fault poor funding of security intelligence. Reps fault poor funding of security and intelligence. The members of the House of Representatives have reportedly raised concerns about the funding structure for security and intelligence operations in the country, and that story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. And that's all we'll be taking on the Guardian newspaper this morning. In summary of today's papers, it reflects that there's heightened political activity following the signing of the amended Electoral Act, renewed debates over electoral transparency, tragic security incidents, and economic adjustments affecting key sectors. As Nigeria moves closer to the 2027 general elections, attention is clearly shifting towards institutions responsible for implementing electoral reforms and maintaining public confidence. And now the public is moving from the law because it's already signed. Now they're looking at how the institution is going to carry out that law, how they are going to reflect that law in their activities. And that concludes our newspaper review for today, Thursday, 19th of February 2026. I'm Arugundade Temintokwe. Thank you for listening and stay with us for more updates, more packages in the Money Impact show. I'm sure you don't want to miss any part of it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome to High Impact Studios, the place where creativity meets production perfection. Need an outstanding audio production? We deliver professional jingles, engaging voiceovers, and attention-grabbing radio promos that stand out from the crowd.
If you're in the podcasting world, we've got the ideal recording space for you. Our studio is designed to ensure pristine sound, making it the perfect place to bring your podcast to life.
But we don't stop at audio. Looking for a space to film your next big project? High Impact Studios offers customizable spaces for movie sets and video production,
giving you everything you need to create stunning visuals.
Whatever your vision, High Impact Studios is here to make it a reality.
Let's create something amazing together.
We don't set the standards. We are the standard. The frequency is 102.1.
Let's change your life with music, news, drama, sports, fashion, and entertainment.
Let's change your life.
Why? Because we are your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Hello there. Join us Mondays to Fridays, 7:05 a.m. for newspaper reviews, headlines, analysis, and comments on your urban lifestyle station. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Start your day with Impact as we give you positive affirmations, traffic updates, entertainment, fun trivia, and many more on Morning Impact. From 6 a.m. to 12 noon every day on High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
And I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
I know, and I love you too. This is why I've made it so that you can now have me everywhere you go. www.highimpactstudios.com. Press play. Links in our social media bio. Click at High Impact 1021 FM. Or you can just go the regular way. Turn on your radio and tune in to 102.1 FM.
We love you at High Impact Radio. Mwah!
See, there is no separating us now.
The king of radio is here. High Impact 102.1 FM.
Secure the future.
At High Impact Studios, we serve a platter of excellent services. Want to know what we offer? Get into our world of impeccable delivery, from premium audio production, excellent voiceover artistry, to a versatile space for all kinds of photo and video shoots. Our quality event coverage and cinematography professionals will give you an excellent coverage of all your memorable events. Our OB van is available for live streaming all your outdoor productions. Enjoy the high impact effect. Contact us today on 0706-393-5694 or 0915-158-1881 or send a mail to info@high-impactstudios.com. High Impact Studios, the future.